Is right.
Little experienced a little technical difficulty this morning.
Tech phobia.
But we played through. That's a golf term, I think.
Tech phobia?
No. Yes.
Played through. Yeah, we played through the storm. We always do. That's our trademark. 10 shows could be firing at the same time, but we're as calm and cold as cucumbers.
Cold as cucumbers.
Isn't that a phrase? Isn't that a something?
Hello.
Hi, Kendra. Welcome to 11th Hour Radio. Welcome back.
Thank you, Kristina.
Yes.
I'm so glad to be back in the studio.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Yes. And today we have, well, I guess they stopped crying, but the children below us are outside enjoying this lovely springtime / just about summertime day here in Vermont.
Yeah, last week we had the window open right next to Emily, and it was pretty loud.
Yeah, they're loud.
You know, you could almost hear what kind of altercations were going on and who had stolen whose toy.
Oh, man.
And which of the teachers was losing her mind and tearing her hair out.
Did you guys both have motherly instincts to lean out and reprimand children and or comfort them?
You know...
Does that go away? Does that really even exist?
Yeah, I think you start to slowly move into the grandmother mode where what happens is you think it's somebody else's responsibility now. It's not mine. So that's cool.
How I always feel. Actually, that's not true. I feel a little responsibility sometimes. But in general, I'm aware it's not my problem.
Well, I think if you're responsible, you probably feel responsible. But if you're not, then you're like, well, I hope somebody's taking care of that. So, yeah. Well, I do have the syncing microphone problem this morning, which I'm holding it up now with my right arm.
Yep.
I'm not sure how long that's going to work for me.
There's a real dip to it.
Yeah,
maybe there's some sort of a clamp.
Well, there was last week. There was this piece of metal that I could prop underneath it, and I was really hoping I could find that again. But
whoops, there's no clamp at the first hinge there, right at where the bottom stand. Next one down. No clamp down there.
No.
Don't. And it's too far.
Yeah. No. Okay. Let's see. I'll put my elbow here.
It's not just the digital tech, folks. It's the physical, mechanical tech that's really thwarting us a little bit, but we're playing through.
You know, my day has been like this a lot, having to contort myself because it started with the tick discovery.
So if there's a tech phobia, we're also going to delve into the world of tick phobia.
Yes.
Today.
Absolutely.
Also called being alive. Tick phobia is called being aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, because we have to be alive in this world, so we just have to deal with what.
Yeah, it's called living in a place where ticks also reside, which is all of New England and apparently most of the northern eastern seaboard, right?
Yep, climate change, people.
Woo woo.
It's a climate change phenomenon, and we're going to have to adapt as we have for millions of years. We have adapted.
I was joking around about how we need to have signs that say tick-free, like it's the new gluten-free. But what I actually think is we need signs that are like share the roads with bicycle signs, and now they're share the world with tick signs.
Ooh, I like that.
It could be a bullseye pattern behind the words.
Oh, man. Okay.
Getting into phobia town.
Yeah. The question always arises, is there anything that's inappropriate to make fun of? But I think essentially no. We talked about this last week.
It depends on, I would say yes, there are. It depends on the position of power that you're in.
Ooh.
I think in terms of diseases and ability, I think we could be sensitive to that. But I feel like at this time, in this place, with all these ticks, we got to vent. We got to let off some steam.
And basically, you and I, we're sensitive people. If somebody,
in general,
if somebody's really suffering with Lyme disease, and we certainly have friends who are, we're not making fun of that.
No.
We're just because
we're terrified of that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm a landscaper.
I work outside.
A farm worker, etc. And we're just going to have to deal with it. So I think humor is helpful, so we don't walk around in a cold sweat constantly. I can't have a hot sweat and a cold sweat going all the time outdoors. It just doesn't work for me. So we've got, got to think outside the box a little bit and not succumb to the fear. So
I have to let off steam because I'll tell you what, I see even in photographs, if I see a beautiful green, I mean, it's gorgeous out right now. Vermont in the summer and spring is the best possible place to be. I want to be outside all the time. I look at a field of beautiful waving green grass, lush, healthy, it smells amazing, and all I can think is ticks.
Yeah, that's it. It's changed the way that we look at our landscape a little bit. Which
big time.
I don't like.
Kids playing in the woods, first thing that comes to my head, they're going to be covered in ticks.
Yeah. Well, my brother who lives down in what's he near? Harriman State Park down near New York City. He's a big hiker, backpacker, and nothing slows him down. And he just says, man, I get ticks all the time. I've just learned to do the tick check. And, when you see them magnified, they're very scary.
Yeah, it's not cool.
But anything, I'm more scared, honestly, by an earwig.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I used to have 10 years ago, before this place was literally crawling with ticks, I thought they were the grossest thing. It made me physically want to gag when I thought about ticks on me or even alive anywhere in their own lives. Now, after 5 or 10 years, to get used to the fact that they are everywhere and I do need to do a tick check every day, I'm just kind of like, yes, it is gross. No, I cannot afford the time to gag every time I think about them because I'm terrified of them all day long.
Yeah, about 10 years ago, I quit a gardening job, because I was getting ticks all the time.
Interesting.
It was down in Lyme, New Hampshire.
Oh.
And I think they were actually wood ticks.
Oh, yeah.
But they were very, very creepy to me. I kept the job for, I don't know, a year or 2 years, and then I finally quit because I didn't like coming home with ticks on me.
Yep.
Now I would not quit.
Yeah, now that is not an option
for a tick, because just got to deal with it now. But I did so well this morning. I found it, and
So Kristina found a tick on her. Well, that would be your left shoulder blade.
Yeah, the place that you really can't turn around and see with your head screwed on. If you could take your head off and put it back there, you could see it. But I had a mirror, so I could get to it with a mirror. But there it was. I tried contorting my body, which was what I was saying before, is I twisted one arm under the other with the Q-tip, with the oil on it, and then held the mirror with the other one and tried doing the technique in reverse.
So this technique is a counterclockwise. You nudge the body of the tick in circles, sort of trying to unscrew its mouth parts from your flesh.
That's it.
And if you're curious about it, somebody posted a video of this very technique onto one of our promo Facebook posts today, this morning.
If you just want to get more and more grossed out.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of magical. I watched that video before I came in, and I was like, oh, this is dumb. You just rip it out with tweezers. That's what you do. But then I watch it, and the thing, it's real time. It's not Photoshopped that I can tell. It just comes out.
No, it does.
It dazes them.
Yeah, we've done it 3 times now. I've done it 3 times successfully. And I like that word magical applied to it because it gives it a certain lightness. Like, this is not something to be terrified about. Just check if you find one.
It's just a bug.
Get your magical Q-tip. Yep. Get your magical cedar oil.
Or even water. They just use water in the video. They just moisten the Q-tip and just twirl that baby around.
I like cedar because it reminds me of chloroform. So I think I'm chloroforming them. And putting
it also
them to
smells
sleep.
quite pleasant afterwards.
Yeah, and it does smell quite good. So, but I lived with that tick on my back for a few hours, and I was very proud of myself because I didn't freak out. I said, come on, people are dealing with much worse things in the world than that.
Yep.
So I'm learning. I'm becoming more deeply...
One time when I was living in Western Mass, I was driving home. I was driving back up to Vermont, which is about a 2-hour drive. And maybe a half hour into the drive, I just happened to like feel the back of my earlobe weirdly. And there was a weird lump there. And I was like, immediately I knew that has to be a tick. And I just muscled through the rest of the drive because I was like, what am I going to do? I can't, it's on the back of my earlobe. I can't get it.
It's a good psychological exercise.
It kind of is, yeah. It's like when you have an itch, like that meditative practice of just like experiencing the itch.
Yeah.
And eventually it goes away.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you do that with an itch? I've done it. It's maybe dumb, but
I've done that kind of meditation where you're supposed to
just sit there with it.
Just sit there with whatever pains and aches you're having, or if your nose is running, just
let it flow.
Sitting. Yeah, just go with it.
Just go with it. It's called toddler zen.
Oh, gee whiz. Yeah. Did we say what show this is?
Oh, you did welcome me to this show, 11th Hour.
Radio
on WFVRLP 96.5 FM on South Royalton Community Radio.
And this is episode 5,362, sort of. Seems like we've been doing it for a long time.
How long have you guys been doing it? Like 2-3 years?
3 years, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fridays, 3 years.
It's a good focus for the week for me.
Yeah.
Just to know that I'm going to have to show up here and talk.
And be present in an mildly articulate fashion.
Yeah, it is a Zen practice just to show up and see what happens and be willing to live in the moment of not knowing what's going to happen, but trusting. Yes. So it's that whole, developing trust and believing that the people out there who are listening are not out to get you.
That is something to think about. I only co-host here and there. I'm very excited to be back, but I have the privilege to just sit here and be like, this is totally make-believe. I can just say whatever I want. I actually treat a lot of social media that way as well, which maybe is ill-advised.
Well, guess what? Art is sort of make-believe, right?
Yeah,
making up
putting
songs.
It out there.
Yeah, make-believe. You just make stuff up and it feels good, or it goes into things that feel bad, but brings you back around to having hope.
That's true.
That is art. I believe in art that has hope in it.
I think, yeah. You know what's funny? I was listening to at one of my works, there was music playing and I had not chosen it, and it was not a genre I would have chosen. I don't want to crap on anybody's choices.
Genre.
I'm just going to say it was a genre I wouldn't have chosen.
Don't crap on my genre.
But what I noticed about the songs was that they were all love songs. And now besides if anyone who knows me, my typical heteronormative critique of blah, blah, pop culture, it was that. But it also was just love songs. That was all they were talking about. And I was like, why am I not into this? And then later, I did choose some music, and I was trying to listen with the same ear to the songs I had chosen. I was like, oh, these songs are about the broad range of human experience. They are not just love songs. So, yeah.
I agree.
Hope comes in many forms.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's a nice poppy love song for you. Perhaps it is a song about struggle for me.
Yeah. No, I used to really like the love song thing. And
I do like love songs.
I'm a dropout of that scene.
Mm.
I would
you
like
a balladeer?
Yes, but I'm a balladeer who has a really hard time writing a love song. I'd like to think that I could write one again of some kind of my own unique.
Yeah. Well, love is a lot more complicated than your typical love song really gives it room for.
Well, for me, yes, that is true.
I think for everybody.
You think?
If people are
love
honest,
is complex?
I think it might be little complex. I think we can make a blanket statement about that.
Yeah, so if you're a songwriter who likes to be as honest as possible, I mean, if that's the fun part of songwriting for you is to sit down and say, whoa, I'm going to be really honest now. What am I feeling?
I mean, I would love to hear a love song that's about the times when you want to kick your long-term partner right in the shin.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like pretty much every day.
Oh, man, my last album was all about that. But I did it.
So you do write love songs.
Well, honestly, yeah, I did it so poetically.
Nice.
You know, I did it. You want to take something that is difficult and you want to sort of find the beauty in it.
Yeah.
So,
do you come at your art from that direction? Like, because what I'm learning more and more, I'm a writer, and what I learn more and more is that if I try to like do what you're saying, to take that direction, it usually isn't very good. But if instead I just look at my own experience or an imagined experience sometimes, but that comes from your own experience. So if I just look at my own experience and try to relate that as honestly as I can, that's what happens, is that you find the beauty in normal life. I find that if I'm like going for finding the beauty in just your everyday, it comes out hackneyed and weird. But if I just try to be more and more honest about my own experience, it ends up working.
Yeah, so I think
the magic.
I think what you're saying is that it's the process.
Yeah.
You have to get into the process, and you have to, what's the word? You have to embrace your feelings, whatever they are. And oftentimes you start on a bad note.
Yep.
You start on a little piece of a shard of pain that's stabbing you somewhere. And then you got to work your way through that. And you do. I mean, if you're dedicated to that process, I think you are going to come out the other side with something useful and positive.
Yes.
And that's why a lot of us do art of some kind.
Yeah.
It
well,
helps
also because
us.
it is a therapeutic process
for
the artist.
Exactly.
Primarily, perhaps, even.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's already 11:19.
Oh my gosh.
Just heads up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we could play a track of music, I suppose. We're right at that juncture. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then we'll come back.
And we'll come back tick-free.
Yes, tick-free. Did we mention that you took the tick out?
Oh, we might not have. I did take the tick out, but I think it was already dead. You know, for anyone who's wondering about the cliffhanger. Facebook cliffhangers. We can get into that later.
Death by Q-tip.
Live tweeting.
Yep.
Live tweeting life. But yeah, Kristina, I think, killed it, and then I just twirled it around until all of its legs fell off, and then it unscrewed itself.
It was so cool.
Yeah, it was
and then
pretty amazing.
Kendra said, wow, you have a lot of tick legs on your back.
Yep. They were
all
of them
like
came
that.
off. Yeah, it was just a little disturbing, but they're so tiny, just looked like flecks of dust.
You cleaned it up. We had alcohol.
Yep.
We did the whole thing. I had a traveling medical
Yep. Kristina brought the supplies, and I applied the surgery.
It was teamwork.
Today's
Today's
Team
theme
tick-free.
is
TTF.
Teamwork. Yeah.
Teamwork.
All right. Let's see. We got to get the track of music now. I think this is Nick Coles from Shelburne. He's an orchard guy.
Ah, what kind of
apples?
Fruiter, an applist.
A fruiter, she says. A fruiter. All right.
That's a thing, right?
Let's see what happens.
He's a sensitive new age redneck from the back hills of Vermont. He'll give you wild turkey whiskey, peppermint tea, whichever one that you want. He eats tofu burgers, he chews red men, and he spits in black and white. He gets his tarot cards read on the way to the bar every Friday night. He's got a naked woman stenciled on the front of his truck. He's got silver stud mud flaps. He's got crystals on the dashboard and feathers in his baseball hat. Oh, and he cries sometimes when he thinks about his mama singing Amazing Grace. All the boys down at the discount beverage knows he buys his Catamount by the case. 'Cause he's a sensitive new age redneck from the back hills of Vermont. He'll give you wild turkey whiskey or peppermint tea, whichever one. Whichever one you want. He eats tofu burgers and he chews red man and he spits in black and white. He gets his tarot cards read on the way to the bar every Friday night. But now he swears he was Moses in a past life. He says it's the only thing it could be. Cause last year when he won up at the Johnson Mud Bog, said it opened up just like the Red Sea. Oh, then he died. He saw the great white light. He could see himself lying down below. Oh, when he saw there was beer in a keg down in the cellar, said, I guess it just ain't my time to go. Cause he's a sensitive new age redneck from the back hills of Vermont. He'll give you wild turkey whiskey or peppermint tea, whichever one. Whichever one you want. He eats tofu burgers and he chews red man and he spits in black and white. He gets his tarot cards read on the way to the bar every Friday night.
Thank you, Nick Coles.
What a rousing tune.
Yeah.
I like that. Kristina was just scratching her arm and saying she's so itchy. And that brings me to one of my hastily scribbled topics, which is titled, How Do We Know It's Summer? And then in all caps underneath it says, Skin! Yeah, the black flies are out. And they bit the heck out of my feet.
They're bad this year.
Yeah, they're out. They're annoying. I go to the farm in the morning and at 6 a.m. and I pick salad mix and they are hopping.
So they're out in the morning?
Oh, goodness,
See, I don't.
yes.
Landscapers go out, well, my style of landscaping, we don't start our jobs till 9 or 10.
Oh,
so.
yeah. No, I start at 6 because you got to pick those delicate greens before the sun hits them.
Is that it?
Yes. You can't pick them when that's... I mean, we picked like 100, almost 200 pounds of greens yesterday, which is a lot.
Wow, that is a lot.
It is so much. And we weren't done till noon, but at noon you have to keep pulling the row cover back over the plants except for the plants you're cutting, because the sun wilts them and then they won't perk back up. And then you have gross wilty salad and no one likes that.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Yep. So you got to do it early in the morning.
Thank you for doing that so that I can have my fresh greens from the supermarket. Well, not the supermarket, the co-op, but
yes,
I like to say that word, supermarket. Whoever thought that
Supermarket. South Royalton Market.
That's like jumbo, the jumbo size leafy green.
But yeah, so the black flies are out. I was thinking about this yesterday, that in the winter, my skin is an unblemished, unseen mass.
Very pale.
I'm very pale. And then in the spring, I have this glory time. Before brambles, before ticks, before bugs.
Oh, yeah.
Before poison ivy.
Yes.
When I'm not doing tons of outdoor work, so before bruises. And now comes the season when I look like someone beat me up and scratched me a lot.
That's so true. I have to say that I loved March and April. They were a little too warm for me, but I enjoyed just being able to walk in the woods and see.
Unencumbered.
Yes, and the leaves weren't out yet, and I just love that time of year. Anyway, burgeoning nature, that's what you said to me. You came in here and you said, it's the time of burgeoning nature.
Big time. It's a huge change. Like even over the past 2 weeks. 3 weeks ago, there was nothing.
Yeah.
And now there's everything.
Now there's everything.
And it's big.
From nothing to everything.
And it's funny that our listeners, because I assume we have listeners in Virginia and south of that area, are probably laughing really hard because their burgeoning nature happens, I think, in like March 1st. late February.
Yeah, that's why people go down there and hang out. Some northerners.
It was actually a little too much for me. I lived in West Virginia briefly, and it was a little overwhelming. Their burgeoning nature is like the kind that's gonna, if you stand still too long, you will become covered in vines.
Yes,
that's what I felt like.
It's sort of intaxing at first, and then it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it was like,
I don't know.
So much oxygen in the air that you're like heady all the time.
Yeah, what do you do with that? Do you have to go back inside?
I don't know.
Pull down the shades?
It's so damn hot also. I mean, I just laid around with a fan a lot.
Yeah, we don't really have to do that here. At least generally speaking, I don't.
You know, I already pulled my fan out.
Well,
because it was 80
you
degrees,
know what
and that's hot to me. I'm from the north.
I don't go in my hot rooms in the summer. I just don't use them.
You have a wise house setup,
yeah,
perhaps.
although I have to say sometimes if I have to do recording in the summer, I kind of pray for a cool day, and I open the windows until the very last minute. You know, I keep everything open, keep a little
Pepperbuck studio to Hotbox studio.
Yeah, it kind of does. So it's cross your fingers and see what happens. Because I can't run fans up there. They're noisy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could run them and then turn them off and then proceed.
Oh,
but
man. So basically it's like hot yoga recording. It's a spiritual experience.
That's right. I kind of tough that stuff out.
The sweat just lubes you up for more expression.
I don't like to pamper myself.
That's a very Vermont thing to say. Yeah. I have a hard time relating to people, so I am dating, as has come up on this show when I wasn't here, apparently. But I have a hard time knowing how much to reveal about how hardcore of a Vermonter I am and how I don't believe in the creature comforts. Yeah. I have had issues in relationships where, the other person wants to, like, say, run an AC unit all night.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
I've
like,
had that.
Come again? You even have an AC unit?
Yes, I know.
And you want to run it all the time. And sometimes they want to run it. They've wanted to run it when we weren't even in the house.
Well,
and I was like, good gravy. This offends both my Vermonter sensibilities and my environmental sensibilities.
Yeah, I actually don't think I know anybody who has AC in Vermont, but I have been in hotel rooms sharing with someone who wanted the AC on all the time. And I guess because being compassionate and I wanted them to be comfortable, I had to change my mindset and say, well, the sound of the AC unit can be kind of soothing, hypnotic, put me into a trance state. So I've laid down and listened to it, trying to experience it that way.
That's very meditative.
Yes, you have to play mental games with yourself sometime. If you're in a situation that you can't control something, you got to switch your perspective on it a little bit to see if you can accommodate it and hopefully get out of that hotel room as fast as you can in the morning. Yeah,
I have to say I'm not a completely righteous whatever, because I don't go to hotels very often, but when I do, I kind of see them as an oasis of separation from all of my values. And I definitely
that's good. I like that.
The AC unit and watch tons of TV.
Oh, TV, definitely. Turning the TV on. My kids, I used to, we didn't have TV when they were growing up. And so when we went to motels.
It's on.
It was very.
I revert to that.
But, and it's not even really watching TV. It's just switching channels. You got the remote, and you're just, what's on this channel? What's on this channel? And
nothing's on any of them. That's the problem.
Yeah,
if I have real TV, I watch a lot of Netflix and like internet TV, but I never have had real TV. But the few times I've been exposed to it, I think maybe I had it accidentally at my house once. They left it on, and we just hooked the cable up, and it was still there.
Oh gosh!
But it's just a lot of channel switching because there's not anything on. Or the commercials. I can't really do commercials, so then I got to switch to a different show, and
while
so then
the
I watch a
commercials
few.
On.
Yeah.
I think also when you have so many choices, like since cable was invented, all of a sudden you have too many choices, and so you have a kind of option anxiety that you're missing something. When you actually commit to something, this is a lot like relationships.
Millennials call it FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh, really?
There's a term.
Wait, I got to write that down. I'm gonna FOMO.
I like to be a millennial language ambassador.
Yeah,
FOMO.
See, I who would I have learned that from? My kids don't tell me this stuff.
Yeah, they're not giving you the slang, and it's great because it's like I only know millennials who are like around 30 years old now, so I don't know what anybody else younger than that is saying, but I see this on the internet. FOMO. Also, it's probably a little passé by now, but It's
That's
still relevant.
passé already?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to try it anyway.
I think you should bring it up. I think you should bring it into conversation.
I mean, what do I have to lose?
Just drop the
Really?
drop the FOMO.
They already think that I'm, an oldster.
Yes.
So, FOMO.
If you Google that, there's probably 800 think pieces about FOMO and
What is a
tech.
think piece?
This is great.
I'm gonna.
I think pieces like like those essays on like some kind of pop culture or current event that you read that people link to on the internet, on Facebook, particularly in Twitter. Those are think pieces.
Oh, nice. Well, I Googled something this morning.
Ooh.
Congratulations. Well, for some reason, I thought of the Talking Heads, the band.
Yes.
Right? I grew up with that band.
Why wouldn't you think of them?
Of course.
They're
They
great.
popped into my
Legendary.
head. But all of a sudden, I made the association between the band name and the actual phrase Talking Heads.
Oh.
But I couldn't quite. And I was also simultaneously thinking about the corporate media. So,
Ooh.
so Talking Heads, that was a tie-in. My brain was just kind of
Your
jumping
brain
all
was
around.
being a freelance writer because
yeah.
that sounds like a think piece to me.
Okay. Yeah. So then I Googled Talking Head. I think it came up as a singular. There's a
Yep.
train going by.
Hello, train.
It's so exciting. Amtrak. Where did I write down Talking Heads? What it meant? Hold on. Since I don't have my paper, my printer didn't work again today, so I have to look at this on my computer. I think I put a heading that. Oh yeah, Talking Heads. Here it is. Okay. Quote: a person whose talk is empty and pretentious.
Ooh,
That's a talking head.
that almost applies to us, except I don't think we're very pretentious.
Yeah. Well, let's meditate on our own inner talking
What are we?
head.
We're like talking hands. I don't know.
Our ITH, inner talking head.
Inner talking
That's my
head.
okay. I'm
I
starting.
definitely have an inner talking.
Yes, so this is my new phrase. You might if you're with FOMO and you're so yesterday, but I have ITH.
Nice inner talking head. Oh my gosh!
All right.
I'll write that on my list.
Sit down and commune with that inner talking head.
My inner talking head.
Yeah.
That does happen a lot with dating. You have an inner talking head, like
Constantly.
judging this person that you don't know at all, or maybe
What
have known for the length of one date.
Okay, well, just you posted that it hadn't actually been a blind date. What did you mean by that?
Okay, so referring back to last week's episode,
Yes.
and last week's episode in my own life that I live Facebooked, I set up a date via an internet dating application, and then the day of the date, and we did not exchange real life communication methods other than that. I could only communicate with this person through that app. So on the day of, I noticed that this person's profile was no longer in existence, and I was like,
Fascinating.
and my gut said, they're not coming.
Or they do not exist.
And I wasn't like 100,000,000% on this date anyway, because as it happens, I live in rural Vermont and my choices are very limited. And so I go on dates with people who I'm kind of like,
yeah.
they're not so bad. Let's see.
we
And it was
grovel.
one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was Facebooking asking people, so I feel like probably this isn't going to happen. Do I have to go? Because I had to drive.
Do I have
30
to go?
minutes.
I like your choice of language.
Yeah, well,
there.
I'm a tourist and I like to stay at home. Also, I had just made a delicious casserole that I was then not going to get to eat because I had to go out. I just happened to have the afternoon off, so I did this cooking. And, I have Netflix and I like my house.
What
and
kind
I
of
like hanging
casserole
out.
was it?
It was, so cabbage rolls. So cabbage rolls. Cabbage rolls with like lamb and feta.
Okay.
Greek style cuisine might be familiar to you.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to roll them, so I made it into a casserole. I layered the cabbage and then the filling, and the cabbage and the filling, and the cabbage and the filling, and then I poured the tomato sauce on top. It was, and then baked it, and it was incredibly good.
There was cheese involved.
There was feta mixed in with the lamb and the rice and the
Wow.
spices.
Okay, so
It was super good.
you were setting the scene now.
It was super good. It was an insanely good casserole, and I was basically like,
Well, why did
drive 30 minutes to potentially get stood up or stay home with this amazing food,
But
which
wait,
is my first
why
love
did
anyway.
you make the food if you knew you were going on a date?
I had the afternoon off, and I had been meaning to make this forever and just not having had the time. And so I was like, cool, I have 3 hours. I'm just going to bang this out. this is what I do because this is how I live.
Okay.
Because if I'm gonna make a casserole, it's not gonna be after work. I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's gonna be at 1 p.m. in the afternoon when I have a few hours. So that's what I do.
Later, I want you to tell me some of your after work meals.
Oh my
But
gosh,
not now because we got to get to the date.
No, we get to get. Okay. So the date. So I was torn. I did not want to go. I'm lazy and like to stay home, and I wanted to eat this food. So I posted on Facebook asking for advice from friends.
And you wanted everybody to give you permission.
I wanted people to give me
home.
permission to stay home, which I might add, it was evenly split. It was an even split between people who, I have to say, have a lot of experience dating, saying, do not go. They're not coming. Do not waste your time. Their instincts are honed. They were right.
They were right.
And then all the rest of my friends being like, Kendra, open your heart. Open yourself to a new experience. You don't know.
I think I was...
You don't know, which is also true. And I also am trying to say yes to life and no to obligations, but yes to life.
I was in that second camp because I just wanted you to go and see what happened.
Yeah. And what happened is that this person didn't show up, which was fine. I wasn't surprised. I brought a book. I went to Tucker Box in downtown White River Junction. I had a delightful glass of Turkish white wine. I put my feet up. I read some T.C. Boyle short stories. I hung out. It was good. And then I went outside. I was going to hang out with a friend, but I couldn't get in touch with her. So instead I just hung out on a bench in downtown White River. It was the first week of spring. It was beautiful. There were birds singing, hermit thrush singing by the parking lot of the new Barrett Center. It was great.
You see?
I didn't take it personally. That's my personal growth Friday thing is don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Obviously this person was not in a space to let me know in the typically known fashion that they did not want to go on this date or couldn't go on this date for whatever reason. Update note, yesterday I looked at this app and their profile is back.
Wow.
And my brother said, I was talking about it to him and he was like, oh my God, did you message them and ream them out? And I was like,
kidding?
Yeah, I was like,
let it go.
Who cares?
Yeah, really.
They obviously, they know. They wouldn't have deleted their profile if they didn't know.
I like that attitude of generosity towards somebody who's being a jerk. Because it really doesn't cost you anything. Because what you get out of the situation is you get information that will... Oh, yeah. That
they help me out.
It helps you hone your behavior and make better decisions in the future. And they
basically, there's this phrase, the 12-step programs, rejection is protection. There. And sometimes I'm like, shut up, stupid phrase, but it's also true. Yeah,
baby.
It was a red flag of the highest order.
I love that.
You don't want to be with somebody. You don't even want to bother going on a date with somebody who can't handle just writing an email being like, I changed my mind.
Yeah. And look at that. If you open yourself up to that date potentially being a date with yourself.
Yes.
And you made it good. So I love it. Dating can be more than just meeting that strange person.
Yeah. Dating actually for me today is I just connected with someone on the internet. We haven't met yet. However, they really like finding new music and telling people about it. I am really lazy about finding new music and never find it. Oh my God. It's already a match made in heaven.
That is so great.
This person's turned me on to 3 new bands in the last 24 hours.
I love that.
It's great.
I'm so happy with your dating.
Even if we never meet in real life, which it'd be cool if we did. Yeah. But even if we never do, this is already a success.
Yeah. Win-win.
Win-win. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
There was a good segue there. What did you just say? You said this is a great way. Oh, it's a great way to go on a date with yourself.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this. I had a really fun time with some friends earlier this week, and we had a little adventure, which I'm trying to do more in my life. And I was thinking, Kristina, you seem like this is a thing that you do in your life. You make room for adventure. Oh, yeah. And I'm curious, how do you do that? Have you always been this way?
Yeah. Sometimes to my detriment.
Yeah! Oh, I love that.
Because I think when I was younger, it was sort of geared towards romantic adventure, or what I imagined to be a potential romantic adventure. Yep. Now I just use maps.
Yeah.
You know, I have as many maps as I can. I have gazetteers. I have topo maps. I have,
I always mean to
state
get
maps.
the gazetteer, and now you're really
You don't
pushing
have
me to
it
do
yet?
it. I never
What's
buy
with
it.
you, man?
I never buy
That's
it.
the most fun thing. You know, like I drove home from work yesterday and I saw some roads. And in my mind, I'm immediately saying, oh, I wonder if that road connects with this other road that I've never been up. And my little mind is working. And I said, I'm making a date with myself. When I get home, I'm going to get that, that nice cold beer and I'm going to sit down with the gazetteer.
This is excellent. I'm so glad I asked you this.
Yeah.
This is a roadmap to adventure.
Yes, because
You're
as soon as
speaking
you
it.
get in the car, the truck, whatever, and you head out, you're going to see stuff and run into people.
Yeah.
And you can take your camera and you can go down a fourth-class road and have a real adventure.
Well, I can't because I drive a Toyota Corolla.
Okay.
So I can park my
Okay, you
Corolla
can
and
park
walk
it and
down
walk
a fourth-class
because-
road.
No, and that can be very rewarding as
Yes,
well.
yes.
You can get to the end of the road, you can see a trail, you can head in.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I'm missing probably is a gun rack.
Ah,
Because I'd like to have that in the back of my vehicle.
like just for show?
Just so people don't mess with me. I don't want to
interesting.
be at the end of a dirt road, park my car, and
Yeah.
not have some indication that
You're
I'm
tough
and protected.
Interesting. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of listeners who are not from this area would be terrified already by what you're saying.
Yeah.
Not even the gun rack part, just the part about like driving down an unknown road and then like getting out of your vehicle to explore it.
Yeah.
My thought was, and landowners don't mind. Have you ever had a run-in?
Well, to tell you the truth, I pick my route according to whether I'm alone or with
Another person?
another adventuring partner.
Yep.
And currently I do have a partner who's really likes to do the same kind of adventuring that I
nice.
do. We both love maps.
Yep.
And so with him, I will go way deeper into some of those places where you might end up at a homestead at the end of the dirt road. That's my least favorite thing. Is that I
Yeah.
drive to the end of the road and I approach this house and it looks really sketchy, like there's drug dealers up there. And then it's like, how do I turn around?
Or just someone minding their business in their own home.
Well, that's probably,
where they moved way far away from everyone on purpose.
Maybe 80% of the time that's what it is, but there's that small percentage
Yes.
of probably there are people dealing drugs at the, have meth labs here in Vermont.
That is actually totally possible.
Yes, so I'm a little, but if I have a guy with me, big guy, I'm like, yeah, we can ace this.
Yeah.
So.
All right. All right. Duly noted. I like to go on adventures of that nature also. I think I like this map tip because it's like a very, I like maps, and B, it's a very concrete way to kind of like do the pre-planning. I like spontaneity, but as anyone who really knows me understands, I am not spontaneous really at all. I actually pre-plan almost everything. Sometimes for years.
Yes,
That's
yes.
another issue.
Yes.
But, so the map is like, I like the spontaneity, but I like to have known ahead of time that there could be a road there.
Yeah, because
maybe there's
at
a
least,
pond.
Exactly. You what you do is you set your sights for something that looks intriguing
Yes.
on paper.
And then you go find out.
Yes, because once you're out there, you might digress, and
Right.
that's part of the fun.
Exactly.
Is just the digressions.
When I used to take a lot of road trips with my sister when I was younger, I did lots of adventuring. And we had a thing, and road trips are another topic. Like, what kind of road tripper are you?
Oh, yeah.
We were the kind that we called it going on a lark. So you're on, you're on Route 66, barreling westward, and then you see something off of the highway. Are you gonna stop or not?
Oh yeah,
And I am a yes. I'm
Yeah.
a big yes on that.
yeah.
So we called it a lark. Going on a lark.
That's interesting. Emily often talks about this in relation to her and John, and that John wants to stop.
Oh,
at
John is big on the
everything.
larks. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm
but
into that.
sometimes you're in a
But
hurry.
I also have the capacity to just do a straight shot from North Carolina to Vermont.
If you need
with
to.
no stopping.
Right.
Only peeing.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes people get upset about that because they want to eat foods. And I just
like
I say you
eat
should
in
have
the
packed
car.
it.
That's
you
right.
should have packed it.
Right. Right. You're absolutely right.
That's the Vermont. That's
Yeah.
the Vermont in
No,
me.
I love that. And guess what? It's time for another track of
Good
music.
gravy.
We're just the hour is just racing along.
It's racing by.
Let's see, what do I have next? I have This Old House by Lizzie Mandel. This is a really cool song. So let's see. Put that up. Here we go.
This old house still stands. This old house still stands. Yet I'll never know if I am home. This old house still stands. This old house still stands. Yet I'll never know if I am home. But I'll wait for you through the early hours of spring, and I'll know it's you by the way your love sings. This old love is gone. This old love is gone. Will I ever know if it was true? This old love is gone. This old love is gone. Will I ever know if it was you? I will wait for you, and I'll hold the key for a love we knew that slips away like a dream, like a dream. I'll wait for you through the early hours of spring, and I'll know it's you by the way your love sings. I hear you're coming home. I hear you're coming home. Will these lonely nights ever end? I hear you're coming home. I hear you're coming home. All these lonely days have been my friend, and this house still stands. These walls still wait for the solace of the sound that your love makes. This old house still stands. This old house still stands. Yet I'll never know if I am home.
Beautiful.
That was great. Is that song over?
I think that song is over. We
Okay.
got a little sucked into a new conversation.
Yeah. We did. That's what happens.
Yes,
Life is what happens when you're making other plans. I have really ascribed to that.
that is true.
Yeah. I don't know who said it. They always attribute it to some celebrity like John Lennon, but something as basic as that. Did he really say that?
I have no idea.
A lot of people said it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people probably said it. I don't trust it if it's on the internet, right? Don't trust that John Lennon said it.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people have that phrase framed. I've seen that a lot.
What is that?
Maybe like Pier 1 put a printout of that phrase, life is what happens when you're making other plans, and then signed by John Lennon. And I've just seen it. Maybe it's a greeting card that people frame up. I don't know. But I just see it in frames in people's homes sometimes.
Yeah, people want to believe it.
Yeah.
We all need these idols.
Yes. It makes it more meaningful if someone you respect said it, as opposed to you just saying it.
Yeah, that's right. We don't. It's our own lack of self-esteem that drives us to these. What are they called? Memes.
Memes.
Yeah, that's just a huge way of saying that we hate ourselves.
Well, I like to think of it as we all have ideas. Don't forget, your ideas are good too.
Yeah.
That's what this show's all about. We have a lot of ideas.
Well, yes, and even if we do hate ourselves, we're constantly looking for ways to invigorate the conversation.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you got to wake up the next day, you got to wake up tomorrow, and you got to start over.
Yep.
And that's okay because we're here for a limited time, so let's just fling ourselves into it wholeheartedly. Like, what else are you going to do, right? If you're going to wake up, you might as well live.
Man, I wish I was writing this down.
That's so profound.
I'd make that into a meme.
Yeah, reduce it down to
I'll reduce
10
it down to
words
like
or
10
less.
words. Kristina Stykos says.
Yeah, if we could do one
Fling
a day.
yourself in wholeheartedly. What else are you going to do? Life is short.
Oh, gosh almighty.
Ah.
Gosh almighty. So I did want to know what you thought about the fire department shooting off their hoses this morning down by the river.
I did not.
Did
That
you see
sounds
it?
like a euphemism.
I think
I didn't see it.
Well, we were looking for a theme for today, so maybe that was the symbolically. Usually it's like a beautiful
Release your
eagle.
hose.
Yeah. No. It was, yeah, they were shooting off.
I don't know.
I just didn't know they did that as a group. I just yeah.
As a woman,
Yes.
I was
Well,
as a female-bodied person. I was not aware that they shot their hoses off as a group. Didn't know.
yeah. Well,
Didn't know. I think about that a lot with fire departments. Recently, I was at the Memorial Day Parade in Tunbridge last week, and a big part of it, you know, a lot of it's organized by the fire department and different town groups. And so I was thinking about that, like the little leagues that people get into, especially when you live in a small town and like you do a lot of stuff together.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
a lot of stuff. I mean, you save lives together, but you also barbecue chicken together.
yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't. I think it's interesting. Like, how close do you get?
Was there a coin drop?
God, no. That's only for the fair, not for the parade.
Yeah, I hate
I don't
that.
think people waiting in line to drive who didn't realize that the parade was happening and they are waiting behind the parade and then they form their own second parade. Like, I don't think that you could really get away with asking them for money as well. I think there might be violence.
Yeah, that would
happened.
be bad.
There were double or triple the number of tractors in this year's parade.
Why is that?
I don't know,
Huh.
but it was exciting for some people.
Well, maybe because more women are driving tractors. I drove a tractor the other day.
Only one woman was driving
Actually,
one of
I
those
didn't drive
tractors.
it. Oh, really?
There was only one. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, public at large, but I'm pretty sure there was only one woman driving a tractor
Okay.
in the Tunbridge Memorial Day Parade.
And I lied. I said I drove a tractor, but actually I just got given a tractor driving lesson. I didn't actually get on the tractor. I stood
really?
next to the tractor.
Oh, that's
and-
no good.
and
You
he's-
got to drive it to know.
Well, I will. I had a Kubota. I didn't really need the tractor, but my client said if you need the tractor to move
here's-
the compost, here's how you run it. You can use it
Gotcha.
anytime the door of the garage is open. So I
Do you
tried-
think if we were guys, because I also am the kind of person who would be like, okay, and stand there and listen and be like, cool,
would
great.
a guy just clamber
yeah,
on?
wouldn't
say,
a
"Get
dude
off!"
just be like, or like, be like, oh, after that guy leaves, even though I don't need to use it,
I'm gonna go
use it.
Yeah.
And or afterwards be like, oh, I just feel like messing around.
You know what it is for me? I probably would have done that, but the reason I didn't is there were probably 15 guys on the job site.
Oh, and so if you had messed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't want to drive a tractor for the first time in front of a bunch of guys.
Me neither.
There were masons in the front yard laying the
Oh,
walkway.
gracious.
There were painters. There were carpenters.
Oh, man.
Electricians, plumbers.
Oh, now we're getting deep into gendered work territory. This is actually a big part of why I quit doing carpentry, because it was so annoying. I generally worked on small crews, and it was totally cool, and I worked with totally cool guys. I only worked with one woman in my entire 10-year carpentry career, and that was just at one job. All the other times, dudes, totally cool guys on my crew, but anytime we went to any bigger job site like you're describing, dudes would stop working to watch me work.
Mm-hmm.
Just to watch me do my job.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And then a lot of trying to pick things up for me, which if you've ever been on a job site,
Yeah.
someone picking something up for you when you did not ask them to do that is actually really disruptive and unhelpful.
Yeah. Well, I've timed out of all that a little bit. Being as old as I am, they don't look quite as hard as they used to.
That's nice.
So, yeah,
but on a tractor.
Yeah, on a tractor they would have, but...
And in some ways they might have been fine. Like, I could see I have the exact same anxiety. I totally would not have done that. I wouldn't have done it anyway, even if I was alone, because I would be afraid of, like, driving that tractor into a stone wall and breaking it.
Into the pond or whatever.
I would be afraid of property damage.
Yeah.
On my part.
I hear you.
But, yeah, I mean, maybe we could trust... that even if it was anxiety producing at first, we could do a thing like drive a tractor for the first time in front of a crowd of 30 weird guys. Because maybe some of them would be dicks about it, but a lot of them
is dick
probably.
Is that a swear word, dick, on the radio?
Know. It's I meant such as a man named Richard. Because some of them probably are bound to be named that.
Yes.
But some of them might totally be cool about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. There's actually, just to clarify, there's some really nice guys on this job site, and I'm not trying to insult any of them, but masons and roofers are kind of at the bottom of the barrel, and you know, I hate to say it, but
often, yes, you encounter, and I have to say as a general statement, a lot of guys are really nice people one-on-one or even in small groups, but in larger groups, as a female in the world, it gets intimidating because sometimes bad things happen.
Yeah, and the nice ones stay quiet.
Yes,
There's always nice ones in the crew, and they're just ashamed to be part of that mentality, but they don't quite know how to deal with it.
Apparently not.
They're caught between the rock and the hard place, so to spepe.
Yeah, not as hard a place as the person receiving all of that energy, but you know.
Yes, but
yes, we have a modicum of empathy for you.
Yeah, we're tough.
Dudes who don't speak up.
You know what?
But we wish you would.
We got our maps.
Yeah.
We're going to be fine.
Yep.
And on that happy note.
Yeah?
It's actually time to play the last track of music and get the heck out of here.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, you've been listening to 11th Hour Radio, streaming live from South Royalton, Vermont. And I'm Kristina Stykos with my guest host here,
Kendra
Colburn.
This has been scintillating. Thank you. I can't believe that it's already over.
I know. I can't either. It's been so much fun. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
We'll see you
Thanks
again
for having
soon.
me. Have me
All
back.
right.
I love it.